other side, from the monster's perspective, okay, you can see that the monster is genuinely sad and remorseful upon seeing Frankenstein dead. Okay, and there is a very touching, maybe monologue, touching speech made by the monster on page 219. Okay, the second complete paragraph. That is also my victim, he exclaimed. In his murder, my crimes are consummated. The miserable series of my being is one to its close. Okay. Oh, Frankenstein, generous and self-devoting being, what does it avail that I now ask thee to pardon me? I who irretrievably destroy thee by destroying all that thou lovest. Alas, he is cold, he cannot answer me. Okay, so here we see the monster in his genuine sadness, okay, and remorsefulness, okay. But then on the other hand, the monster, like Frankenstein, excuses himself. These are two men, I think, who are as self-centered as each other, and they are remorseful over what has happened, but then they also try to excuse themselves. For instance, this is in the story that the monster tells Walton, starting, I think, yes, starting on page 220. 220. He says that he is not born with revengefulness and despair. He says that at first he is filled with love and sympathy. That's one point. And then he also says that he regrets over the killing of Clerval. And it is upon knowing Frankenstein's attempt at getting married that the monster gets even angrier, and then decides to realize his threat of being at his wedding day, being with him on his wedding day. Okay, so, and then the last point he made is that he does commit crime, but it is his miseries that lead to the crimes. Okay, I guess this is all very interesting. I'm not sure how you feel it. This is, for me, a little bit like being involved in the debate between Eliza and Higgins. And that is whenever we listen to one side of the story, we feel that we are convinced. We feel that, oh, they have all the reasons for saying so. But then we hear the story from another perspective. Okay, and then there is this dialectic, 辩证, and we find out that maybe each of them, like Eliza and Higgins, or Frankenstein and the monster, each of them, they only have a partial truth. But then they also have their own problems. And I think one major problem of the monster and Frankenstein is that both of them are self-centered, and they try to excuse themselves. Of course, they have their reasons, but then, we can also say that, we don't commit crimes just because we are miserable. We can also have our reasons against them. Okay, and I think that's what is interesting about this novel, that you get to see how the two of them can be sympathized, despite the terrible consequences they lead to. But then they can be sympathized. But then they can also be criticized. Okay. So these are reasons the monster uses to defend himself, and he also says that he admits that he's degraded. Okay, like Frankenstein, he's degraded, but then he claims that he's all alone. So this is again what makes him two-sided. One is to admit his crime, but then the other is to always excuse himself. Okay, and if finally he, like Frankenstein, is still selfish. Remember in this episode of Justine, Frankenstein says, "I'm more miserable than Justine," but Justine is one to be executed, and Frankenstein even says that because she can openly excuse herself, but I cannot, so I'm more miserable. And here is the same thing. The monster says that my agony is stronger than his, because I stay on and he dies, and then he can be released. Okay, and he says that it would be the monster says that if he is just revengeful, it would have been better if he is kept alive. He's alive, then he can continue to torture me. Now that he is dead, he's released. I'm the only one to be left with agony. Okay, so I think there is some truth to it, to say that indeed, if two human beings are in debate or in conflict or in hatred against each other, then keeping both of them alive, is the most miserable thing. Okay, and then if one person leaves the debate or the struggle, the conflict, then the tension will be reduced, and there may be chances of peace. So this is a moment when this interlocking of the two revengeful human beings, get to be dissolved. The lock is lifted because Frankenstein is dead. Okay, and then the monster feels that he has more agony, because he's left behind. Okay, so talking about the double and how this is a deadly embrace, and what does that make us? What possible solutions there can be, to this kind of double deadly embrace or entanglement of the double. I think that definitely this is a story of extremity. But then, in our life, there may be some person who can be your arch enemy. Some person that you can hate, or you can be always like your brother, that you're always fighting with, etc. Okay, so I guess that sometimes if there is such an entanglement of human relations, it's sometimes caused by extreme hatred and love. If there is such an entanglement, if you just hate a person, then you'll just forget about him or her. But if you cannot get rid of this person, then this entanglement must be caused by two things. One is hatred, and there's another thing. Either love or envy or admiration, etc., etc. There must be another element that keep you entangled with this other person. Okay, and I think there can be possible outcomes. One is that in the two parties, one gets victimized, one gets weakened. Okay, one becomes submissive to the other. Then there will be the relation will not be as tense as the kind of deadly embrace. But of course, we don't want that to happen. So I think the better situation will be Frankenstein and monster. They are in a kind of dialogue. Okay, but I think a better situation would be for one person to withdraw, or both of them to withdraw from this battle, and then maybe their perspectives can be broadened. Because in a way you can see that all of their reasoning is about themselves, about how miserable they themselves are. They seldom talk about Elizabeth, their father, Justine, the other people. They talk about how miserable they are. So I think that this is part of the problems of the entanglement, because they cannot see things from a broader perspective. Okay. And finally, before Frankenstein dies, he gives two suggestions to Walton, and that again shows that his repentance or his remorsefulness is not complete. He still keeps the desire for ambition, for heroism, because when Walton is struggling between whether to go forward or to return to England, Frankenstein at one point says that you should stay and fight. you should be a hero to fight and be conquered. Okay, but then when after Frankenstein knows that Walton decides to return, okay, this is on page 217. He then changed his mind to say that, oh, maybe you shouldn't be too ambitious. Okay, maybe you should seek happiness in tranquility and avoid ambition. Okay, so again, looking at the two suggestions Frankenstein gives to Walton, we can know that for Frankenstein, what do you call it, Faust or Prometheus? The kind of quest, heroic quest he undergoes, is never completely given up. There is always a part of him that wants to continue, despite all the terrible consequences. Okay, so I think that this is, for me, the most incisive criticism Mary Shelley gives to a romantic hero. Remember that Mary Shelley is not a male writer, so she is not part of the tradition of romantic quest, okay, or romantic heroism. Okay, so she looks at it from a female perspective, and she's able to analyze the psychology, the mentality of the people engaged in heroism or ambitious quest. Okay, and she's able to see the weaknesses involved or the self-centeredness of those romantic heroes. Okay, so this is my perspective of the implications of the double, how Frankenstein and the monster, they are actually double to each other, and they are both a kind of romantic hero. Okay, but very heroic, very with a grand mind, but then also very self-centered. Okay. Okay, so I think I'm done with last week's PowerPoint. Let's begin our quiz. The quiz group 1 gives to you. Are you ready? Okay. Newton is, there's an extra space here. Newton is in physics, right? Okay, that's the little I know. Okay, are you done? A? Okay, this is my problem. I think I made the wrong choice in the setup. Okay, it should be number 4. Yeah, it should be number 4. Okay, so you're all right. I'm wrong. Okay, but there's one person who is wrong. Okay. Okay, the next one. Yeah, choose the wrong one about descriptions of Elizabeth. Okay, let's take a look. So Karen, what is the answer? What is the correct answer? Is that right? Number 4, yes. Okay. I just want to make sure I didn't make the wrong choice again. So Elizabeth is one presented as self-sacrificing, supportive, a gentle support of Frankenstein. So she wouldn't stop Frankenstein from doing what he wants to do. And that's why number 4 is incorrect. Okay. Yes, they are sacrificed, and she's kept ignorant. And but she courageously, in the trial of Justine, she gives testimony in support of Justine. Okay. Okay, the next one. Yes, this is the group's evidence. Yes, she's filled with disquiet, but yeah, she longed to bid me hasten my return. Okay, so she Yeah, I think she has some conflicting ideas, but she does not really utter any straightforward request for Frankenstein to stay. Okay, next one. Yeah, so this is all about the monster. His experiences in the first period of his life. I think the main point here is from where she learns. He learns, from where from whom he gets the influences. Okay, let's take a look. Not too bad. Yes. Well, actually, this is all very obvious. As I said, only the film presents the monsters inheriting the memories of the previous brain owner. Okay, but not in this film. In this novel. In the novel, the monster is presented as a noble savage. Okay, this part of the romantic idea that we are born kind, and then we can get benign influences from nature. Okay. Okay, the next one. I took off one answer from the question because I think that all the three are the other three are about the monster, and there's only one about Elizabeth. About the mother, Caroline. So it's in a way a bit obvious. And then on the other hand, actually, Caroline wants them to get married, but at that point they don't get married. And then later on, it is the father that asks them to get married, and then they get married. So I feel that the question is a little bit too tricky, because we can get confused and saw that it's actually the father that asks them to get married. Okay, so this is to prove that in the beginning it's the mother, and then towards the end it is the father that asks them to get married. Okay. Okay, the next one. Are you done? Remember, you should choose the wrong one. You're done, right? Okay. Yes, very good. So why is this wrong, Cindy? Why is this wrong? Right. Okay. Don't be nervous. You certainly felt challenged. Right. He observed. No, because at that point, before he come across the Lacys, he was chased away and beaten by some villagers. So he was not sure if the Lacy would be kind to him. So he stayed aside and observed them before he tries to approach them. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Originally the group has the first one something like he approached them because he wants to learn their gentle manners, and I feel that the answer is not exactly wrong. Because indeed, the monster does want to gain sympathy and friendship from the family, but he also learns. He also learns about their manners, their knowledge, etc. So it doesn't seem to me to be completely wrong. Okay, so that's why I modified the answer a little bit to make it just totally wrong. Okay. Okay. The next one. Okay, you're done, right? Okay, let's take a look. I hope all of you got the right answer. Okay. Yes. Okay. 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 I think this is the last one. I'm sorry, the words are rather small. The first one is about narration. That Shelley invites reader to believe in Victor's story through his point of view in the beginning of the story. And the second one is about the setting, that Shelley uses contemporary times to make the story more realistic and more symbolic. Okay. The third is about romanticism. It's written in... yes? It's written in the Romantic age, when the writers began to experience newfound freedom in politics. Okay, the last one is Gothicism. That in a Gothic story, there are plain dialogues, and then it leaves sinister issues behind. 哪一个字 ？Atypical, right? Right. I said, oh yeah, right. It should be sorry, yeah. Right. It's also wrong syntactically. What the answer it means is that the setting is atypical, non-typical. Yeah. Thanks for letting the others know. Yeah. Okay, are you done? You done? Done. Okay. Yes. Number 2. I modified the answer a little bit because I believe the group does it with reasons, but I don't think that the settings are just realistic. You know, because as I said several times, and this is not just my point of view, but also the point of view of another critic, you know, that the settings are actually symbolic. The whole journey is symbolic. So indeed, using contemporary times and contemporary events, and also contemporary settings, you know, is what makes Frankenstein different from the other Gothic stories, which are usually set in a previous time period. Okay, but I think the setting makes the story both realistic and symbolic. So this is what I added. Okay, and here I think the group, I think they have their reasons. Yes. Here, in Romantic age, writers began to experience a newfound freedom in turning inward to reflect on their hearts and imagination. This is right. This is correct. But the group changed the question, the statement to in turning outward to reflect on political events. And this is not completely wrong. You know, just because you change the word inward to outward, from heart and imagination to political events, does not make the description completely wrong, because as I wrote here, political revolution inspired them too. You know, like the French Revolution, and how they were really passionate about it at first, and then they were disappointed, and then that's why they start to turn more and more inward onto personal imagination and emotions, etc. Okay, so so the original revision was not completely wrong in a way. Yes, here the group offers a description of Gothicism. Although she didn't follow the other styles, the traditional style, the typical Gothic style of writing is usually sinister, and including some supernatural elements that are caused by human evil actions. The plot is usually dramatic. Okay, and also the setting is sometimes in an ancient castle or in a remote place, etc. Okay. Let me see what else I need to explain. Right, this is a tricky one because the story does have Victor's perspective, but not right from the start. Okay, at the beginning we get to be sympathetic with Victor because of Wharton. because Wharton gets to like him, and that's why we following Wharton become sympathetic. Okay, so this is where it is tricky. Yes, it's not plain dialogues. It's more really dramatic. And in the case of Frankenstein, Gothicism is combined with Romanticism, and that's why there are a lot of maybe we can say heroic monologues. There are a lot of monologues made by the characters, or dialogue made by the characters, which are poetic or passionate. Okay, so it's definitely not plain dialogues. Okay. 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 The essay question.